Hey everybody, this is Nicholas here with Zenith Design Build, and I'm joined by
Jodi Peterman with Erin Designs.
So we're going to talk a little bit about design, but first I want to get an idea why Jodi's doing what she's doing and how long she's been doing it.
Perfect. I've been doing interior design. This is our 17th year. We just had our anniversary in January, which is really exciting. 8 of the years were in New Jersey, and then the last 9 have been here in Iowa. So that's been really exciting. I started my company, again, 17 years ago, and I named it after my twin daughters, Hannah Elizabeth and Sydney Erin, and started my business there. And then 8 years later, my husband's like, gotta move back to Iowa.
So are you from Iowa or your husband?
Both are from
okay.
Iowa. I just made him move to New Jersey because I kind of feel like I'm an East Coast girl.
Okay, nice.
And I had enough of that, so now we're back home.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So let's get into talking a little bit more about the design process and working with you. We've had the opportunity to work with Jodi on one project so far, which is a really, really cool basement remodel in Glen Oaks.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about how you guys like to run your processes and how you like to design.
Sure. Well, a lot of clients ask us, like, when's it too early or not early enough to involve an interior designer in your remodel or new construction project? And I say it's never too early, because how we like to run our business is we like to be able to have our remodelers hand them over this beautiful little binder that has all the designs, all the specifics laid out for them, right?
Which is what we did with the project in Glen Oaks, was we really just had a binder, or we had a papers, binder, whatever you want to call it, that really outlined everything that was going to be put in place.
Right, and the only difference is with that project, we were kind of, as we were going, because they were kind of in the middle of stuff, and that's how it happened. What we like to do is, if we get the design done from the very, very beginning with the client, so we're working with you, we're picking things, we've got your budget, we know the grout color, we know how it's going to be installed, we know everything from soup to nuts, A to Z, we have it all designed out, renderings, it's all good to go before you even get final bids, okay? So that way, when, like, if you were going to go into a client's space and say, yes, I can do, here's an inspiration picture, sure, we can do it for about X amount of dollars, then when you get going into it, you really realize what they want, because the communication between the remodeler and the client isn't always, what the client has in their head isn't always what is in your head in the end. Right?
Yeah, and to your point too about the budget, like I think that it's super important, especially if you're just going through the design phase, to make sure that you have the client's budget, because obviously you can design it in so many different ways to change the budget or this or that, and obviously Jodi and her team can reach out to us about pricing if they don't know, but they've been doing this 17 years, so they have a pretty good idea of pricing, I would imagine.
Well, not necessarily, because things change as you guys get going, and tariffs and all that fun stuff that comes to play. But the cool thing about having it all designed up front, and the client signs off on it, we can give that binder to you, and you guys can take that binder and get bids. So before they even put any money down towards that remodel, besides any fees that they need to do for you, deposits, they can make changes. So it's not like you've torn everything out, you've got the floor laid, and then you found out the light fixtures they want are $5,000 over budget, but then they would have maybe chosen a different floor had they known that, because they really, light fixtures are important to them. Those are the things you find out mid-project, whereas when you have the binder, it's just on paper, so we can change anything at that point. You can change your flooring, you can say, all right, it's not worth it to me to go with sanded grout for my kitchen backsplash, even though, we splatter spaghetti sauce everywhere all the time, and I'll just deal with cleaning it up, and we'll save the $500 and just go with the regular sanded grout, sanded backsplash grout. So they're able to make those educated choices. It puts the control back into their hands, and I think it makes the process a lot more enjoyable for everybody, because once it's done and designed, there's no change in project scope unless they want to change it. Unless you say, you know how you add your contingency money in there a little bit. Well, they wouldn't use any contingency money because it's already designed and done. Unless there's something in the demo phase that you don't catch, like a return error, things
something behind the wall that you don't catch.
Exactly. So then,
I think it's really important to note too that the most expensive part is to change things after we've gone through the project or after we've put something in place. Then it becomes more expensive because we're doing demo work, or we're making changes in the field, which there's a lot more money in the field as far as labor goes than there is on the initial design process.
And
so it's really important to have the detailed design before you start construction. So that way you're not making changes throughout and then adding to the cost.
Right, and then so after we get, like if we're doing cabinets and backsplash and flooring, we can do a rendering of that so you can see kind of, it's not 100% accurate because you're getting images online and then transferring them to paper, which doesn't always, make it 100%, but at least the client can get a feel for the idea of how it's going to look before, you install it and say, oh, I really don't want those cabinets black, I wanted them white, or, whatever. You can get those changes done beforehand. It makes the process for the remodel go a lot smoother for the remodeler and also for the client. It just makes for a more harmonious implementation of the design.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And I think in a lot of situations too, we try to make sure if we're ordering cabinetry, we have cabinetry on site if possible. Obviously, there's sometimes when we're moving walls and doing this where it's not always possible, but for the most part, we can get cabinetry and certain things with longer lead time items ordered before we start the job. So that way, when we're going for the job, it's very streamlined. It's A, B, C, D, and then we're done with the job versus having to wait on a bunch of long lead time items throughout the process of the job. Exactly. So I think that's another reason why it's beneficial. And ultimately, I always tell clients that what we're going to affect your life, or when we're going to affect your life the most, is when we're actually in your house, remodeling your kitchen or your bathroom or your whole main level. So if we can minimize that time as much as possible, it's going to be a better experience for everybody, including the client.
Absolutely. And along with kitchen design, a lot of clients don't know, it's not that you have to have the cabinet selected right away. You have to have your appliances selected first. That's the absolute first thing that I have clients do, because if you don't have your appliances selected and you fall in love with a stove that's not a standard size, then you've got to go back from the beginning, and maybe those cabinets don't really work with your design anymore, or maybe it changes. So that's very important. And then with lead times, having everything designed up front, you'll know, because the people we work with our lighting, they'll say, okay, this is a cool light fixture, but it's like 3 to 4 weeks out. And I'm like, well, that's fine, because you've got plenty of time to order it. Or if it's 9 weeks out, do you want to wait the 9 weeks for it and delay the project? Or do you want me to find something that's different? And then you can get those things all ordered right away, so we're not dealing with lead times. That comes in when you need it for your remodel project.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to get into, we just talked about this right before we got on. You said you went to IBS, the International Building Show here recently. So what are some cool trends that you've seen in 2019, or that are coming into 2020, or coming out, so the do's and don'ts of some things that you learned at IBS?
Sure. Well, let's talk about some do's first. In the 2019 HBA Home Show Expo, we were the first to kind of implement the boutique style kitchen and master bathroom closet, where you're getting enough space to make it function for you, but you're also leaving some open areas so that you can do some displaying of things. And so that was really big. We saw all the cabinetry, even the appliance companies had boutique style kitchens, where they showed the washer and dryers with boutique style cabinetry in the laundry room as well as the kitchen. So that was really cool to see that was coming forward.
Very nice. Anything else that was kind of cool about IBS that you learned, or?
Yeah, adding some unique flair, because everybody's tired of the same old cookie cutter farmhouse design that's kind of over and out. They're warming up.
No more farmhouse?
No more farmhouse. No more shiplap, please, Lord. No more shiplap.
No more.
We're done. little tiny bits, but a lot of warmth coming into play, mixing tones, mixing metals. You don't have to stick with all brushed nickel everywhere. You're mixing black, brushed nickel, gold, and you can have fun and do different things in your powder room. Go crazy and do a dark wallpaper and a dark accent color in your wall with brushed gold fixtures. That's one place where you can open it up and go, wow. And these ladies who are watching this will get it. So you get the cute little black handbag and you open it up, it's like got a hot pink or a red printed liner on the inside. It's like, oh, wow. It's the same thing when you open up for your powder room. Just some wow factor. Yeah. Something unexpected.
So I went to a few design presentations, and one mentioned that black is kind of in now. What are your thoughts about using black in your design? I mean, we have a black wall here.
Yeah. And black is in. Yeah. And mixing too, like when you say black is in, as far as trim, we've been doing a lot of like high contrast, like black doors with the black trim around the doors, but then the base is white. Mixing and matching and doing high contrast that way.
Interesting. Yeah. Because, and I think that the still simple and clean and light is still in, which is kind of strange to think that black's also in at the same time.
It is, because it gives you that pop, that high contrast, or something unexpected, like even doing like light colored walls and light trim, but putting black on the ceiling, or something fun like a black and white print on your ceiling in a wallpaper.
Yeah, and you even see like black textured tiles or black tiles or
A
something.
lot of black and white tile, actually. There
Mhm.
was one place that had samples that you could take, so I grabbed a couple.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing them around here, so
Very
that's
nice.
fun.
Very nice. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we close?
Just ask a lot of questions. If you're going to start your remodel process, start very early on. Interview people, professionals, your remodelers, your designers. Get other people involved as soon as you can, because it'll save you time, headache, and heartache in the long run.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. So if people want to find you or follow you, how do they do that?
Sure. They can find us on Facebook or Instagram. It's ElizabethErinDesigns.com, and Erin is spelled E-R-I-N. Go to the website. We're working on getting our website updated, so hopefully there'll be lots of great things there. We have newsletters they can follow, and we're everywhere.
Nice. And I want to just lastly say that the project we worked with you on in Glen Oaks was a pleasure to work with you, and it really does show. She really does show and do what she says about creating a nice binder for the guys out in the field and creating this streamlined process. And I think that's huge for working for the design and the build, is to create that streamlined process between the designer and the builder.
And then we don't leave you high and dry. It's
Yeah.
not like we give you a binder and say, no way, we're
Good
done.
luck.
Yeah, no. There were some things that came up that I didn't think of and that you needed answers on, and hopefully we got you answered, or your subs answered right away, so that we can work through a few things that came up, which is normal on a project.
There's something that always comes up for sure. So.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, see you guys.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.